So we're starting.
Okay, everybody, welcome to episode two of my Game Changer podcast. Obviously, I'm your host, Finian Trainer. Another absolutely brilliant guest on today. Really looking forward to our chat. So, we're going to go straight into it, and I'm going to let this guy introduce himself, tell him who he is, what he's doing, and why he's doing it. So, the floor is yours. Take it away.
Thank you. My name is Barbosa. I was born in Canada, but my parents are immigrants from Portugal. I grew up in a soccer-loving household. My entire family are Benfica fans, so obviously during the Champions League games and whenever the Portuguese league is on, the TV is my dad's, and that's final. Right now, I'm a video scouting intern for Malmo in Sweden. We just won the Swedish league. And I'm also a talent ID intern for the Canadian Soccer Association, where I'm helping to identify potential dual nationals for the Canadian U20 and U17 team.
Nice. And would you say the reason for why you're doing what you're doing is that sports, or just say football in general, has just been a massive part of your life growing up?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, growing up in a Portuguese household, there's you obviously grow up around the game a lot, and of course, when you're around your parents, you kind of pick up a few things. So obviously, football was one of them, of course. Um, yeah, and obviously, I've always wanted to work in sports. I've always liked it. Even during school, I wouldn't pay attention that much. I'd be mostly thinking about ice hockey or soccer or something. So when I tell all my friends what I'm up to now, they're not surprised. All the guys I went to high school with, elementary school, they're not surprised at all. They say it's totally you, and they're very happy. Um, so yeah, I mean, obviously, uh, with sports being a major passion of mine, working in it made sense. An opportunity presented itself, and I started off interning with the Canadian Premier League, where I was doing social media, so cutting up the clips and posting them, saying, so and so scored a goal, that type of thing.
Nice.
And eventually, I found an opportunity with Malmo in Sweden. I applied. I passed their test, so I'm doing the Finnish league for them. So I'll watch the league and I'll report back on players that I find interesting. Um, and then I eventually started a project where I would send Canada soccer dual nationals that I would find, whether it's on transfer market or on other sources, because there's a lot of ways you can find out this info. And they liked what I was doing, and they offered me a chance to come on board and to intern with them. So I work for Malmo and Canada Soccer. That's I managed to get that all clear with Malmo. They were okay with it. Canada Soccer's fine with me doing stuff with Malmo. So yeah, I've been doing that for the last couple months, and it's been amazing. I have no complaints. It's been awesome. I've learned so much. I've liked all the work that I've been given, and I'm hoping that I can turn both of these internships, I guess, into something full time in the future.
Excellent. And would that sort of be so? What you're doing now? I know there's sort of two kind of different roles that you're doing now, but they're kind of sort of under the same umbrella in terms of scouting. But is that kind of like the long term of where you want to be? Like, do you want to be scouting for a national team or the club or both? Obviously, like you're doing now. Is this kind of a journey that you want to kind of keep on growing on?
Yeah, obviously, I want to move up a ladder in the sport.
Yeah.
In the future, would I do both club and country? I'm not sure. We'll see what opportunities come up. I guess it's kind of impossible to, I guess, see that far into the future. Obviously, I would love to work at a big club as a scout or in recruitment. I'm never going to be a coach. I'm never going to be standing on the touchline giving orders. That's never going to be me. So I already know kind of where my niche is, where I want to go. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I mean, sporting director. I mean, I, I wouldn't mind doing that someday. That it's always a pretty cool job. Even when I was a kid, whenever I'd be watching teams, I'd always be thinking how the roster was built.
Yeah.
uh, which players you have. I'd always love to play armchair GM. That's what we call it here in North America, when all the fans like to, create their own teams and criticize the teams for their trades and free agent signings. So yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. But I know I'm a long way off from being qualified to be a sporting director. But who knows down the line? I suppose you never know what can happen in life, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, so we'll see. But right now, I'm just trying to, again, just become a better scout, just learn, soak up as much knowledge as I can, and obviously contribute to Malmo and kind of soccer in the best way that I can.
The one thing that I love sort of picking up is that you're focused on one thing. And I think a lot of times people tend to focus on, just say, for example, I think everybody in general, if they say they want to be rich, they want to have a nice car, they want to go on all these whatever 10 million holidays a year or whatever it is. But it seems to be that you're so focused on your pathway to where you want to go. And would you say, is that something that you've always wanted to do? Has it has it always been like you're so focused, or is this maybe something that's come the older you've got? You just kind of pigeonholed your career pathway into somewhere where you want to go.
Uh, I guess earlier when I was in college and university, I was looking more into media,
Okay.
sports media. So there was still an element of sports in that.
Yeah.
And I did always want to get into the front office side, but there was never really a pathway to get into that. Um, so what I ended up doing was I took some classes on scouting. Um, and like I said earlier, an opportunity presented itself with Malmo. I applied. I got it. So now that's kind of changed where I kind of want to go. Again, it opened up a lot of doors for me. I've learned a lot, and I think I've done a good job so far. So yeah, obviously this is now something I want to pursue, and I can kind of put working in, I guess, media a bit to the side. It's funny you interviewing me because usually I'm the one interviewing other people. So
Change your roles just for a day, yeah?
yeah, yeah, it's nice. I don't have to do that much preparation, or it's just sit here and just watch you do all the work.
Thanks, thanks, thanks. So
It's
to be
nice.
fair, most of this work was already done anyway, a couple of weeks in advance. So it's easy. We'll have this all laid out here. But I just want to touch on something that you were talking about earlier on, talking about how you like the idea of the role of a sporting director. If I could ask you, if I ask you right now, like what's one massive goal in your life? Like I'm talking like if you can dream as big as you can or aim as big as you can, what is one massive goal? And it can be football related, it can be family related, it can be anything. But would that sort of director job, sporting director job, be like an absolute massive goal for you? Or would there be something even bigger than that? Or where would you put it?
Of course, I guess sporting director for a club, it doesn't have to be Chelsea. Doesn't have,
Yeah.
but to know, but just to be, I guess, move up the ladder as far as I can go. Working even as a head of recruitment, even I'd be more than happy with that. Because again, coming from Canada, there's not as many opportunities in the sport as you would ideally want.
Yeah.
So obviously, with having a Portuguese passport from my parents, I can work in Europe. So obviously that door is always open for me. So yeah, just being honestly, just being a scout at a big club would already be fantastic. But obviously, you want to aim high, right? So obviously, being I guess a sporting director or director of football, I know some clubs do that too,
Yeah.
have that title. Yeah, just working with that, or uh, yeah, I mean, even with Canada Soccer, obviously there, I'm just a talent ID intern right now. I'm enjoying it. I'm loving working with everybody there. It's been awesome. Um, so yeah, just take it one step at a time and see what opportunities present itself.
Nice. Well, me being a Chelsea fan, as you well know, I tell you, their sporting directors are in the news quite a bit. So who knows? There could be a job offer in the next couple of weeks. The way things are going.
It's a different atmosphere how they work in Europe, right? Because if you look at even here in North America, it's a lot less public. I would say there's a lot less media scrutiny.
Yeah,
'Cause obviously football's not the biggest sport here in North America, right? So we don't have the all the big English newspapers like Marca or all those ones in England that are hounding
yeah,
these sporting directors, right? It's not the same. It's a completely different environment.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I mean, I'd be open to work in pretty much any club in any European country. Obviously, I have a passport. Of course, being Portuguese, of course, you kind of look at the Portuguese market with interest. Um,
yeah.
I do I do speak the language, so obviously
There you go.
yes, I've and my family we vacation there every single year, so I'm comfortable there. I've been there many times. I've been there almost every single year, at least once in
Wow.
my life. So yeah, so I'm comfortable there. We live in the north. The closest clubs, I guess, would be Famalicão, Braga, Porto, Chaves. So yeah, so it's a mix. Some of those teams are kind of mid table. Some Porto, of course, is always challenging for the title
Yeah.
every single season. But yeah, I mean, we'll see how far I can go. I can move up the ladder. I like to think that I'm ambitious. I want to move up. So yeah, we'll see what opportunities become available.
Well, the sky's the limit for you. Let me tell you that. Absolutely. And I want to tap into your ancestry and obviously your background in Portugal with your parents. And the question I have is, do you reckon that the fact that you have a obviously dual national passport, like a Portuguese passport and a Canadian passport, do you reckon that could potentially be like a leg up in terms of a challenge you may not have to overcome because you could potentially obviously apply for any role within North America, probably America as well, South America, and then also in Europe. Do you reckon you kind of maybe have an advantage because you have two passports in a sense?
I think that well with my EU passport, obviously the paperwork process is a lot easier.
Yeah.
Uh, I have heard that for non-EU countries in Europe, going through the paperwork is just it's not fun. So to not have because I hate paperwork, I can't do
Yeah.
it. So uh, the fact that I don't have to take care of that is obviously nice. But yeah, do I think it gives me a leg up? I'm not sure about that. Obviously, coming from North America, the quality and level here is not the same, right? Um, Even like if you compare MLS to the European leagues, it's quite different, right? You see guys coming from like the Championship or League One or League One who look completely different to what they would look like in Europe, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, do I think it's a hindrance? No, but I think maybe coming from North America, you have to prove yourself a little bit more. Kind of like for the players, right? They have to prove themselves a little bit more because obviously coming from, again, even the youth of football here, it's just not the same, right? If you watch a youth player from North America and you watch one from Europe, it looks different, right? I don't know if you've
Yeah.
seen, right? It just looks different the way they even because in Canada the problem is that it's the weather, right? Like over the last few days, we've gotten dumped with tens of centimeters of snow. You can't play outside, right?
Wow.
If you live in Spain, Portugal, Greece, Italy, Germany, you can still play.
Yeah.
Um, so I think I have to prove myself a little bit more, but I haven't encountered any issues. Everyone's been great to me. I have no complaints. I'm always learning as much as I can, asking for feedback, getting advice. Um, so yeah, no, I don't think it's a hindrance, but I do think I have to work a little bit extra to kind of earn it, I guess.
Yeah. No, I was just that I had to ask because I do know. I think sometimes for people outside the EU, it can be very, very hard to try and get into the market because, like you're saying, paperwork can be absolutely crazy. But just to ask you about what you finished off your last point with there, how important is learning, whether it's on the job, whether it's weekly, whether it's daily, how important is learning for you to sort of make sure you have a better tomorrow in a sense? Because I think learning's massive. That like this the saying goes, every day is a school day. So how important is it for you to say at the end of the day, you've done your work and you're like, well, did I learn something today or the end of the week anyway? At least I'd imagine you should learn something across 7 days.
Obviously, things always change when it comes sorry, the game is always changing, right?
Yeah,
Even how it looked 5 years ago, it's different now, right? So you always have to adjust. You always have to learn new things. There are always new ways to kind of scout. I always love reading reports from other scouts to see if there's anything I can pick out, anything that I can learn. Again, you kind of have to soak up as much knowledge as you can. I think I've said that multiple times in this interview, but yeah, obviously, whenever I talk to people who are, of course, much more experienced than me, people who work at big clubs, I always like to pick their brains a little bit, ask for advice, see if there's anything I can learn from them. Sometimes I'll show them reports and I'll ask for brutally honest feedback.
brilliant.
Um, yeah, you're just trying to get better, right? And like I said, the game is always shifting. It's always new tactics, new things are always coming up. So you have to adjust. If you don't adjust, if you don't learn, then you might get left behind, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, so it's a constant. You can't relax for too long. You always got to learn. You always got to improve.
100%. Honestly, I believe, like, I believe people should try and improve a small bit every day. If not, maybe try and do it sort of over a week because it's a longer period and you could potentially see more results. But it's so important for me anyway, and like you were saying, that for you as well to improve every single day. Now that leads me on to the next question of if you had you are standing in front of yourself um, your younger self, 10, 11-year-old Rui. If I'm saying that right, I hope I'm saying it right.
You are, don't
Yeah.
worry.
Okay. So, 10 or 11-year-old Rui, what advice are you going to give to your 10 or 11-year-old self to just from the person you were then, or like obviously you're still a kid at that age, but to the person you are now, is there one or two little bits that you've picked up along the way that you'd say, make sure this is becomes a massive priority or a massive value in your life.
First of all, you guys in Europe always get my name right. In North America, you should have seen how I would always dread whenever I would get a substitute teacher or it's the first day of school because they would always get my name wrong every single time. It's just it's ridiculous. But in Europe, you guys never get it wrong, so it's always nice. But I would say just don't give up. Just keep going. There's always going to be rough patches,
Yeah,
rough times. It happens to everybody. You just got to keep going. You just got to keep pushing through it. Don't give out hope, and eventually, a door or a window will open eventually, even if it's a tiny bit. It will open. You just have to keep trying, keep working at it.
super. No, honestly, I love that. I think one thing I actually say to people is you obviously you talk about not giving up and opportunities that are going to arise. I actually really encourage a lot of people to go and try and create opportunities for themselves, whether that say is whatever, sending an email off to their boss about whatever a pay rise, or whether that's say contacting someone about something else. But opportunities always come. So the fact that you're always willing to wait, even if it's the smallest opportunity, get it, grow, improve, and away you go. Now, the final question to just finish off this podcast and this episode. A mate of mine does this all the time, so I have to shout out to Jack Sweeney Leahy because this really is his question. But my question for you is, it is Wednesday today. What is Rui going to do from Wednesday today until Wednesday next week to improve your career goals, to improve your life, to improve anything? Is there one thing that you can do over the next 7 days that you reckon is going to have a positive impact on where you want to be maybe in the next 5, 10 years?
Just keep networking, keep talking to people. Obviously, in football, obviously, having as big of a network as possible is one of the best things you can do. Just keep doing that. Just keep talking to people, meeting people. I like to think that I'm a likable person,
Yeah,
so
I agree.
I don't I don't know about that, but maybe some people will think differently. I don't know, but
No,
yeah, just keep networking, keep meeting new people, and just keep getting better. And yeah, I got some meetings this week for my with Canada Soccer, so I'll be doing that. And obviously, just keep finding more players for them. That's what I'm there to do. Um, so yeah, that's my plan for the next week. Just keep working, keep my head down, and keep going. Eventually, eventually you will get to the top of the mountain, right? Nobody starts at the top, right? You gotta start from the bottom, and then you gotta work your way up, right? Unless you're
absolutely love that.
unless
Yeah,
unless you're I guess a maverick, as I've heard before, where you start at the top, right? Some people can do that,
yeah.
but not for most of us, right? We got to start from the bottom and then work our way up.
No,
Um,
100%. Everyone has their own journey. Everyone's journey is a different length as well. And like everyone started their journey on a different day, on a different day as well. Like me and you have obviously started on different days as well. And I think people are always rushing. I only had this conversation with someone today, because I'm over in Ajax doing a course, and they were just saying everyone wants results like now, but no one wants to maybe work today, work tomorrow, work for another week, and then they might start seeing results. So absolutely, I totally agree. Look, honestly, thank you so much for giving me 20 minutes of your time and more. It's been an absolutely brilliant conversation. I've loved it. I hope you have enjoyed it too. I will certainly be having you back on because you sound like you're doing some amazing things and exciting work. And we'll have to catch up and see what's going on.
sure, of course. I'll probably be going to well, who knows? We'll save that for the next episode when I'm
That's
on.
what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. We have to end it on a cliffhanger.
Exactly, exactly. Got to pull
Keep
people in.
everybody engaged.
Exactly.
Right, well, look, have an absolutely smashing rest of your day. Like I said, I really appreciate your time. Honestly, a great guy to meet, great person to have, great contact to have for me. And yeah, look, hopefully the snow out in Canada melts soon, and you can maybe go out for a little run and not freeze.
I mean, I still go every day. It's just that it's not fun running through like 2 feet of snow, right? It's
Yeah,
not fun. And what's worse is that when the city comes to clean the snow, they dump all the snow on the corners of the sidewalk. So imagine a mountain of snow, more or less your height. I don't know how tall
yeah.
you are, Finian, but I'm 6 foot. So imagine like a 6 foot tall mountain of snow that you just can't climb over. So you got to run on the road a little bit, and oh boy, yeah, but
No, it's
it's
about the
winter.
same as me. I'm about 6'3", so a little over. But yeah, I can imagine just having a big mountain of snow the same size as me, and
That's 3 inches. You're quite a bit. That's quite a bit. Three is quite a
so
bit.
yeah, so
It's
maybe
not
have a
much.
chance of plowing through the big thing. But who knows? I'll probably end up on my face, covered in snow, and a nice big snow angel made on the path.
Based on how deep the snow is, I wouldn't advise doing one of those. I wouldn't advise doing it's like quicksand. I wouldn't do that if I were you. That's not a good
Yeah, well,
idea.
there'll be no more episodes of this anyway. But look, like I said, take care. Thank you very much for coming on and giving me up your time. And have a great rest of your day. And I hope everything goes well. And yeah, I'll have to keep in touch and see how your week went. And yeah, we'll definitely catch up soon.
Sure, of course, anytime.
Thank you.